I have 9 kids by 4 baby daddies. So what? Me and my husband have discussed on having a 10th child in the future.
Hi, I'm Mama, and I have a Instagram.
On TikTok, there's a lot of negative comments. A lot of them is like telling me to keep my legs closed or to ask me if I know what birth control is. Do they think it's gonna make me stop having kids?
I'm only gonna say 2 words. Make me.
Today, my mom, grandma, and sister are coming over. They do think me having so many kids is a lot. Okay. Me and Will have talked about having a 10th child.
I'm 33 and I'm pregnant by a 21-year-old. I lied to my family about my boyfriend's age. He faced more judgment than I did.
My people was like, what the hell?
Oh, you shouldn't be with her. She's older, she has kids, she's gonna ruin your life. I have 4 baby daddies.
Damn!
5 baby daddies. I'm gonna tell my cousin Stephanie Jalen's age and that we're expecting a baby. I wanna tell you something. I'm nervous, I'm like sweating.
That's wild.
I'm Sharika, I'm 33, I have 4 children, and I'm expecting one with my boyfriend who's 21. We met at work, he just knew he wanted me.
I was like, damn, like, who's that?
I wanted to crack him too. But after we talked and we realized that it was more than a crack, you know what I'm saying? When he was flirting with me, I was like, how old are you? And then he immediately did like one of these like, and he's like, yeah, I'm such and such. And I was like, wow, it's a little young. But when I seen the way like he was treating me, I was like, oh, he treats me very well. So I just let the age thing fly.
How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, cool, I'm doing this?
He sent me an explicit photo. It's the truth. You guys want to know the truth? It's true. He was talking nasty. So I was like, well, let me see if you can back it up. He backed it up.
I'm that guy. This is proof that loose women can no longer pair bond with men. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. You know, proof right here. Okay. That women who are promiscuous, who have a high sexual history with, you know, multiple men, you know, you even got these women that's having sex with each other now, completely destroyed and finished. Right. But this is proof that when women, okay, get out here and explore their sexual curiosity with different people, okay, it not only diminishes her value as a woman, right, but it creates an inability to pair bond with new men, right? You know, and, you know, I got these 2 examples. The 2 videos you just watched. You got this woman right here, 9 children by 4 baby daddies. Okay. And, you know, I'm looking at these kids. You got to be careful because sometimes, you know, these little shows and these little videos will try to, you know, do shit for clickbait. So, you know, these might not even be all her kids because some of these kids, they just look straight up like an Edomite. Right. Straight Edomite, you know, she's obviously a nigga woman, right? So you would expect her kids to kind of look a little bit, you know, ethnic, all right? But some of them look exactly like Edomites. So, you know, who knows? But all in all, okay, this is a reality, all right? There's definitely Israelite women out here that got this many kids with different baby daddies. Okay. This is not far-fetched at all. All right. And the reason why, you know, that this woman is not able to pair bond anymore is because she's jumping from man to man. Okay. Because typically, well, in this world, you can't even say typically, the normal, way is supposed to go is she's only supposed to have one baby daddy and stick with him for the rest of her life. But because she has a high sexual history, Okay. She can't stay with one man. Okay. She's hot in the pants. All right. And, now she's dealing with all, because, this is drama. Okay. This is drama for whatever man gets involved in a situation like this. And it's drama to her life, because now she has to juggle 9 kids and 4 different baby daddies. So, how does shit work? Like when a birthday party comes around for one of these little demons, right? And then all the men show up, all the daddies show up, and they all got to be in the same room. It's just confusion, man, at the end of it all. Okay. And this is why these women are bugged out, okay, and tapped out of reality the way that they are, because they get out here and make these type of decisions. Let me get this. When she's trying to have a 10th child, okay, she's tripping. Look, somebody told her, keep your legs closed. She can't. Okay, she's lost that ability to pair bond. See, when a woman is able to pair bond with men, okay, she's still able to have those affectionate feelings for one man. You know what I mean? One man, right, is all that she needs, right? Because that's all that she's ever had, right? But when you got women that have tasted the rainbow, okay, and they've gotten to, they've had the opportunity to run through different fields, okay, women, a lot of these women get to the point to where it's like, well, why just settle down with one man? I could have this man, I could have that man, right? Women like this, because they've had so many different partners, they'll always compare the man that they're with to a partner that they had 3 niggas ago, right? Okay, he's nice, but he doesn't last long in bed like Larry. Oh, he's cool, but his rod size is not as big as Jeff's, right? He's in the gym, he's working out, but he don't got a lot of money like Lamar, like the nigga Lamar. So they'll always be trying to compare you to somebody, all right? And that is a sign of them not being able to pair bond. And you can see it even when you talk to women in your own personal life, right? A lot of the times you'll meet a new chick and, first date, you want to date with the broad. First time y'all hang out, she's already trying to compare you to her ex, and she's everything you doing. Oh, that reminds me of my ex, and that's what my ex used to do. You see, she can no longer just value you for you and just get excited 100% off of your spirit alone. It's a whole bunch of different, different opinions that are, that got her mind warped. Okay, and that's a part of pair bonding, and we're gonna get some information on that. All right, we're gonna get some information on that. Okay, and so then you got this other black ass woman, other black fat demon. Okay, she's same shit. Okay, 4 baby daddies, working on her 5th. You know what I'm saying? 12 years older than a nigga, and you see a lot of this going on too, where a lot of these past 30-year-old women, they get so desperate, right, that now they gotta fuck with a nigga that's 10 years younger than them, because them is the only motherfucker men their age can see through the gag. But she had to go get herself a young 21-year-old simp. He don't know what's going on. This probably his first real relationship, man. You know what I mean? He's not up to date on the treachery of women. A lot of niggas that are 21 are still googly-eyed about falling in love. So, you could tell she's on her last leg, but, she's not able to pair bond either. This is why she got 4 baby daddies, and why she's working on her 5th with a nigga that's like 12 years younger than her. You see? This is why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai told you women to keep it in your pants, okay, and only deal with one man for the rest of your life. And, a lot of you women, you think that that's beneath you. Oh, I only get to deal with one man for the rest of my life. But what about the men? They get to run around and have sex with whoever. Well, you're not built like us, okay? Sexual encounters don't affect men the same way it affects women, okay? All right? Women, when you have sex with a man, for the most part, women become emotionally inclined, okay, to that man that she's laying down with, right? Because women are more vulnerable when they have sex, okay? So you can't get out here and do what men do. You're not a man, all right? You're much more affected. So this is why the Lord told you to only deal with one man, so that way your mind can be stable. A woman having 4 baby daddies and all them damn kids, her mind is not stable, okay? She's all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying? And both of these bitches is probably going to eventually end up leaving these niggas and going to go get with somebody else because they can no longer value men. They've had too many experiences. They've already had this nigga, that nigga, this nigga, that nigga. They're not impressed, okay, by whatever new nigga comes along. Okay, you don't really impress them, all right? And that's a bad thing, okay? Because a woman is supposed to look at her man as the top prize, okay? Regardless of what financial situation he's in or whatever the circumstance, he's supposed to be the one and only for her. But because she's already had niggas that might even be better than the man that she's with, how could she ever submit to him? How could she ever respect his authority? You see? Let me get a scripture real quick. What do I want? Let's get this. This is Deuteronomy. We'll start with this right here. This is Hebrews 13:4. It says marriage is honorable in all. Yeah, in the union between man and woman is supposed to be an honorable thing. Okay, it's two people joining flesh. Okay, they become one flesh. She's not supposed to be joining flesh with a whole bunch of different niggas. That's too many opinions in her head. Okay, it's just like Eve and the serpent. All right, once Eve, locked in with the serpent. Okay, she got exposed to pretty much she got exposed to a level of wickedness, right, that completely warped her mind to where she could never go back to that innocent woman that she was before she met the serpent. So when you women get out here and start having sex with all these different types of niggas, that shit warps your mind. Okay, it warps your mind to where, you've pretty much crossed a certain line that you'll never really be able to come back from. Okay, and then, you got a lot of women out here that, they might actually hook up with a solid dude. You know what I mean? A dude that's, what they would call a good man, right? A dude that got money, muscles or whatever. They might actually get this dream nigga, but then they'll fuck it all off because she's too damn toxic because of them niggas she been dealing with. Okay, her inability to pair bond with a man and look at any man as value because she has too many experiences. These women out here that have loose with their body are not able to just lock it down with one man. They're too adventurous. They've seen too much. And a lot of you women have even fucked off opportunities with men of the Lord. Okay? Women you have gotten with men of the Lord, brothers, and you fucked that off. Right? Because of your inability to see a man as anything worth value. You had too many goddamn partners. That's why marriage is supposed to be honorable. Okay? It says in the bed undefiled. Yeah, you got 4 baby daddies, okay? Your bed is defiled. Your box is defiled, man. Okay, you're all sexually perverse. And it ain't like she's only had sex with 4 men. No, that's just niggas that she had kids by. All right, a lot of these women, they'll have kids with certain niggas, but they're not going to tell you about all them niggas that they had one night stands with, the niggas that didn't get them pregnant, the niggas that wore a condom, okay? Her little hoe phase at 22 years old, she's not going to tell you that. All right. So these women's bed is undefiled, man. Is defiled. Okay. Their bed is defiled because they cannot sit down. All right. They got a hypersexual demon on them. Just like you heard this fat gorilla nigga woman. Right. when you watch the video, they asked her, oh, what made you, want to get down with this man? First thing she said is, oh, well, he sent me an explicit picture, meaning the nigga sent her a nude picture, right? And that's what turned her on. You see? Because now she's been reduced to, she's just pretty much like a cum bucket, right? So her mind is hypersexualized. That's the only thing that turns her on. She didn't say anything about his character or his his ability to lead. It was just straight up, it's just sex. But that's what happens to a lot of these women, okay, when they start to lose that ability. The only thing that might excite them at that point is sex. They don't get excited off who the man is anymore. They've already had that. They've done that too many times. They fell in love too many times already, and they eventually get to a point to where it's like, well, love is for suckers. That's weakness. I got to get out here and protect myself. Okay? And they become defiled. It says, but whoremongers and adulterous God will judge. Yeah, and the Lord is going to judge a lot of these weak, loose ass women that don't want to settle down. Okay? They don't want to, keep it in their pants. All right? And for you women that are tapped into the Spirit of the Lord, okay? All right? Hey, we gotta be in reality, okay? A lot of so-called sisters, a lot of you that, are in the truth now, before you came into the truth, hey, you was a little harlot. We just calling it a spade, man. And that's okay. You've been renewed by the cleansing of the word, okay? That's okay, but we got to call a spade. A lot of these women that are now in the truth, serving the Lord to the best of their ability, right? And that's a good thing. But, a lot of y'all was harlots. A lot of y'all was some sluts before you came into the truth. All right. So, this is also a reminder to y'all to, hey, a part of your fight is not to become no loose ass woman. OK, now you know better. All right. And really, y'all should be trying to seek a man of the Lord. OK, y'all should be trying to seek a man of the Lord to settle down with. All right. Your time of hookup culture and going to go play the field, you can't be no woman in the truth, and then you still got that mentality of playing the field, and you hooked up with this nigga, that nigga, this nigga. I had a casual encounter, a one-night stand. The Lord gonna judge you bitches for that. The Lord gonna judge any woman for that, because hey, the scriptures say a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. All right, you're adulteress. Okay, you're a demon. All right, so that's something that you women, you have to learn. You have to learn to not be so hypersexualized, okay? And settle down, all right? Okay? Now, I got this article right here, ChatGPT, okay? I put in ChatGPT, I put women having multiple sex partners, how has that affected their ability to pair bond with men? Okay? Logical questioning, all right? So let's see what ChatGPT says. It says what pair bonding means. Pair bonding refers to forming a stable emotional attachment to a long-term partner. Okay. And, a lot of these women, they can't do that anymore. All right. They're not able to, really create a stable, foundational attachment to a man. All right. Because, it's all the negative shit. It's like these women, they throw out all the positives about men. Right. And they just keep all the negative shit, but that's because of years of failed relationships, right? So now when she gets with a man, she assumes the worst, She puts a bad narrative on him. This, that, and the third. He can't be this. He can't do this. I gotta watch myself dealing with him. He might break my heart. He might. See, you talk like that as a female because you're not able to pair bond anymore. All right, you're not able to create an emotional attachment to men. You're pretty much a lost cause. All right, because what is the purpose of a woman? A purpose of a woman, and I don't give a fuck what none of you bitches say. All right, it ain't for you to go be no career bitch or be Wonder Woman of America. No, it's to bear children and guide the house. That's your purpose. Okay, it tells you that in the scriptures. All right, to bear children and guide the house, man. All right. But how can you do that if you can't even create an emotional, foundational attachment to any man because of your negative narrative on men, because of your inability to pair bond? You see? That's what leads to these women having 4, 5 different baby daddies. Why is she going from this nigga to that nigga, this nigga to that nigga? Why she just can't stay with one man and have all them kids by one man? She can't. Okay? She can't. She got to see what's next. Okay? Pair bonding refers to forming a stable, okay, I read that. It says attachment style, secure, anxious, avoidant, hormones, past relationship experiences, trauma, trust, and expectations. What research suggests, some studies indicate that a higher number of short-term sexual partners can correlate with increased emotional detachment from sex, greater difficulty with trust or long-term commitment, higher likelihood of avoidant attachment patterns. You see? So these women, they can't really get on your team, right? And then you wonder why, okay, you got women like this, right? Because these type of women, they're not going to tell you the relationship that they got with their baby daddies. They probably got these niggas on child support. They probably making their other baby daddies a life of living hell. Okay, and they just found some simp, goofy ass nigga at the end of it all to try to make an honest woman out of her. You know, her and her goddamn 9 kids, right? But why do you think these women become, you know, demons to their own baby daddies, right? Why do you think that happens? It's because she has an emotional detachment to him. Okay? From the very beginning, she was never really attached. All right? It was just a good moment. That's how these women deal with men now. Good moments. Okay? They're not really attached. It's just good moments. So it's nothing for them to flip on you and paint you out to be the villain. Okay? That's why we got to get out of here, man. So we can get our, we can have sincere wives again. Okay, women that really love you for you, okay, and don't see nothing else but you, all right? And I know some women are listening to this like, what you mean? I can only love one man. What the hell? You supposed to get out here and have fun. Grown-ass bitch telling a 15-year-old girl, get out here and have your fun. Get out here and have your fun. Don't ever settle down. Wait till you're 35 to settle down. And then by the age of 22, she's already destroyed. She got a 7-man body count. She can't even pair bond with nobody. You know what I'm saying? It says, important counterpoints often ignored. Men show similar patterns when engaging heavily in casual sex. Many women with multiple partners still form healthy, deep pair bonds. Let's see. Attachment style matters more than body count. All right. Let's see. Because, ChatGPT is going to try to butter it up, when it comes down to women. So you got to spit the bones out here, man. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's just read the bottom line, okay? It says how having multiple sexual partners can affect how some women relate to intimacy, especially if those experiences reinforce detachment or distrust, but it does not automatically damage their ability to pair bond. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay? Yes, it does, man. All right? That's why the Lord said, all right, a woman can move on if the husband is dead. Okay? Because if he's dead, his spirit is no longer on the earth. Okay? And she can effectively move on. All right, but that ain't the case. You got bitches out here that got a body count of 20, and every single one of them niggas is still alive on the earth. She running into them at the mall and shit, trying to hide. Okay, so it definitely does affect a woman's ability to pair bond. She can't take no man serious. All right. Okay. Her psychology is destroyed. All right. Let me get some more scriptures. Okay. I wish ChatGPT would have did that question a little bit more justice, but hey, that's why we're supposed to filter it through the Holy Scriptures. Okay. Supposed to filter it through the Spirit of the Lord and give you the true understanding. It definitely does affect a woman negatively for her having multiple sexual partners. All right. Especially when you deal with a woman that got multiple baby daddies, man. Those type of women are usually batshit crazy. Trust me. I ask brothers that might have been in those situations that's dealt with a woman that got maybe 2 baby daddies. Okay? She's not stable. She's hard to deal with. Okay? She's always negative. And even if a woman don't have no baby daddies, she just got a high body count. Those type of women are hard to deal with. They're self-centered. It's all about them first. They can, they don't have any what could I say, sincere intentions for your well-being. It's all about, their pleasure. This is why when you look at the statistics, the divorce rate in America is 80% initiated by women, 90% initiated by college educated women. So women are the ones calling relationships off at a high number. You know why? Because they get bored of the man that they with, right? They couldn't pair bond with them. They don't have that deep attachment. Because if a woman had a deep attachment, she'd want to stay with him for the rest of her life. But most of these women, they can't. Okay, they can't. They've been poisoned by the philosophy of Babylon at this point, man. Okay. Let's get this right here. Okay, dealing with the rotting of the thighs right here, man. Okay, because back when our nation was established and we had priests. Okay. All right, we were a sovereign nation. We used to have a law, okay, that will reveal if a woman was, if she was promiscuous, if she was cheating on her husband, okay, and you would make her drink, some bitter water. First, you would put her under oath, right? And ask her some questions, and then you would make her drink some bitter water, okay, and if her belly starts to swell up and her thighs start to rot, meaning that she starts getting that cellulite look, okay, that means that she's been sleeping around with other men, because what that water would do, it will reveal, different sperms that are inside of her. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why these women can't pair bond, because they got different men's DNA inside of their body, right? That's why they call a woman's body an incubator. Right? If a man ejaculates inside of a woman, it stays inside of her for the rest of her life. So if she's done that with 15 different men, you think that's not going to affect her brain? Of course it's going to affect her brain, and it's going to affect her body on the outside. This is why you see women with that cellulite. Whenever you look at a lot of women with cellulite, most of them be whores. Not all of them, but they got that whorish little slut look to them when they be having a lot of cellulite on their legs and shit. Or if they got that little pouch in front of their box, right? And that's what that bitter water used to do. Okay, it used to reveal if a woman's been promiscuous. So let's go ahead and read some of this. It says, Numbers 5:20, starting at 20. It says, "But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband," meaning that she's committed adultery. Okay, she's had sex with a man outside of her husband. It says, "And if thou be defiled," yeah, because that's how you become defiled. Her body is defiled. Her mind is defiled. All right. That's why, the punishment for a woman that commits adultery is death. Because at that point, once her mind is defiled and she's been sleeping around with a bunch of different men, what good is she to any man now? What good is she to any man? Okay. The only thing left for her is death. She's not going to be able to work things out with men. She's not going to be able to resolve situations. I can't tell you how many women I've been with. You know what I'm saying? You be with them, and then, things could be going good for like 2 months. And then one little mishap, she's out of there. You know what I'm saying? One little mishap, one little conflict y'all have, she can't take it. She's out of there. She moves on to the next. You know why these women do that? All right. Because they can't pair bond. All right. They never seen you as anything worth value anyways. It's easy for them to detach and move on. That's not a good thing. OK, that means her mind is defiled. And that happens by her committing adultery. OK, it says, "And some man have lain with thee beside thine husband, Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people, when the Lord doth make thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. And this water that causeth the curse shall go into thy bowels. Okay, so it was a particular special water that the woman used to drink, and if you know, you know, she was committing adultery, like it says, her thighs will rot and her belly will swell, and then she'd be ordered to be put to death, because it's, you know, at that point, you know, it's evident of what she done. Okay, and let me tell you something. You women will fail this test miserably. All right, you women will fail this test miserably, man. All right. In today's age, it says to make thy belly to swell and thy thigh to rot, and the woman shall say, Amen, amen. Okay, so, you know, this is why these women are defiled and their bodies is all, you know, these women are out of shape. They're all lopsided. That all comes from whoredom. Not all of it, but the majority of that shit comes from whoredom. The way that their bodies be looking, right? That smell, right? All, you know, a lot of these women, you know, it's like they got that smell. You know what smell I'm talking about. You take them pants off, okay? That all comes from whoredom, okay? It all comes from whoredom. This is Deuteronomy 11:26. It says, behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day. Yeah, and what was a part of the commandments that a woman is supposed to, you know, hold on to, okay? Not committing adultery and being with one man for the rest of her life, unless her husband dies, right? If women would stick to that, there would be, hey, a lot of these women will be better off. Little do they know, okay? There will be less confusion. There wouldn't be no goddamn 4 or 5 baby daddies, okay? But because these women have been impacted by Satan and they can't help themselves, you know, they're so hypersexualized, all right? You know, they can't, it's hard for them to keep this commandment, okay? It's hard for them to keep that commandment. Therefore, a cursing has come upon these women, okay? A woman with 9 kids and by 4 baby daddies, okay, she's cursed, man, all right? That's a cursed household, man. Nothing good about that. There's nothing honorable about that. That's nothing to hold in high regard, okay? She's a complete loser, man. She's a failure as a woman. All right. The best thing she did do was bring forth children. That's it. That's it. She fulfilled that purpose, but that's rooted in wickedness. She did it in a wicked, evil way. OK. She's a curse. It says in a curse if you will obey not the commandments of the Lord your God. Yeah, it's a curse for you women not able to pair bond. It's a curse for you women to think that life is about getting money and being some career woman. And I don't got to worry about settling down with a man until later on in life. Fuck a family. Get a degree. Get your bag up. That's a curse to think like that, man. And you think like that because of your inability to pair bond. I'm going to keep saying it. Okay? You're cursed because you do not want to cleave on to the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right? It says, but turn aside out of the way, which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known. Okay? And going after another god could also mean chasing a different lifestyle, anything outside of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay? Because this world is full of idols, all right? That's why when you read in the book of, was it Jeremiah, man? When the Lord sent the Israelites into Babylon, ancient Babylon, all right? What did the Lord tell the Israelites? He said, don't bow down to none of these idols, because in Babylon, there's many idols, right? You know? Don't start doing what the heathen do, right? They're giving on the idols. So America is the land of many idols, all right? And this is why these women are freaked out and they can't lock in with one man, okay? So, you know, for you brothers out there, you know, you get with a woman, all right? And, you know, it just seems like, you know, she can't really love you like how you feel like you're supposed to be loved, or, you know, she's quick to call things off and move on to the next. Hey, don't worry about it, man. Hey, it's a part of the game, okay? It's because these women are cursed, all right? They can't pair bond with men. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the curse that the Heavenly Father has put on these women, especially the Israelite woman. The scriptures talk about your wife is going to be a harlot in the city. You're not going to be able to really lock in with her, right? Because of all of the sexual experiences she had. Okay? You got niggas out here that's trying to turn a hoe into a housewife. You know, this nigga didn't, he didn't got married to a bitch. You know, he got married to her when she was 28, but all throughout her early 20s, she was letting niggas raw dog her in the car. She done had niggas ejaculate on her face. She done had niggas run a train on her. She done slept with women. That's why marriages don't last in America, man. The women are too distorted and warped and fucked up, man. All right? And if they would come back to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai and get their mind stable, okay, they might be able to, lock in with a man again. Okay? So, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I'll give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kahak double honors once again to the apostles and elders. Shalom. Shalom.